can still hear that voice.
Enemy at the destroyed building.
Since Modern Warfare has been out for almost a month now, I think it's fair that we kick off our channel with our first review of the game. So with all the hype that the game has had before it even released, has it really lived up to its hype? Well, short answer, no. Instead, what we have is a camp-infested game where the only way you can even get 20 or more kills is if you camp in a corner with a shotgun or a claymore. Since the games came out, we had about 3 updates to the game that introduced a new map in the name of Shoot House and a few weapon tuning, but did that really help the game?
I hope so.
So Shoot House is actually one of the first 3-lane multiplayer maps that they introduced to the game. So basically, it takes place in Urgitstan, which if you played the campaign, you know that location. It's basically a 3-lane map, really similar to the old map Shipment, if you guys remember from Modern Warfare Remastered. But personally, I'm not a big fan of these small little maps because that's just a bunch of chaos. But unfortunately, somehow, even though this map is actually small and 3-lane, people still find ways to camp. So overall, even though the addition of Shoot House was nice, it didn't really improve the gameplay. People still play the same. Then one might ask, even if you put a 3-lane map in the game, why isn't the gameplay as rewarding as previous Call of Duties? Well, the biggest change that this year's Call of Duty made was the removal of the traditional mini-map. We still have the mini-map, but it doesn't work like the way it used to. Now when you shoot your gun, you will not have a red dot on the map. And because of this gameplay change, sound is really reliant on the player. So people are just sitting in corners, sound horning, waiting for someone to come up the stairs and hear them and then get the first jump on them. And what makes it 10 times worse is that the regular maps promote these kind of camping activities. You'll see that in many of the maps you play if you already have the game. You'll see that a lot of maps have a lot of buildings you can hide in, a lot of dark corners, and bro, trust me, there's only about 3 good maps in my opinion in the game. In Hackney Yard, Arkalov Peak, and St. Petrograd. And with Arkalov Peak, in my opinion, the game is only good if you play Hardpoint. Honestly, Hardpoint is actually the best game mode in the game because in Team Deathmatch and Kill Confirm, you'll see camping is insane because people are not moving from their spot because they don't know where the enemies are and they're scared of dying. On top of that, we have other maps in the game that are just straight terrible. When I say the word Piccadilly, people get shivered. People start having flashbacks of running through the middle of the map and getting shot by 3 directions. My goodness, I have never seen a map worse than Piccadilly. It's just a big open space with a bunch of buses in the middle of the map. No flow, no sense of direction, people camp. It's one of the worst maps in the game. On top of that, we have maps like Azir Cave, which could be decent. I feel like if they had the regular mini-map, Azir Cave could be a decent map, but unfortunately people still camp in the cave, and on top of that, it's a dark cave, so it's hard to see people. And we have maps like Euphrates Bridge, and honestly, if you ever played that game, you would know, if you have the bridge spawn, you are winning the match. You cannot win the game if you don't have the bridge spawn. And we have a map called Aeneas Palace, and if you guys played that map already, you already know how terrible it is. A huge map, no flow, buildings everywhere. I just can't. On top of this, they also separated the map, so you have certain maps for certain game modes. So they kind of went the Overwatch route where certain maps dictate the game mode you're playing. So you won't play maps like Aeneas Palace on 6v6. That's a strictly 10v10 map. And also, they changed ground rules, so instead of the typical 20v20 like we're used to in other CODs, they changed it to 32v32, and the maps are 10 times bigger. I've never played a Battlefield game in my life, but people are comparing it to Battlefield maps and gameplay. Now with the lack of mini-map, the consistent buildings for people to camp in, the overpowered shotguns, the claymore spam, you can kind of understand why playing multiplayer in this game is really hard. But regardless of all these flaws, the gameplay is still Call of Duty. It feels good. The guns look nice, the game looks nice, and even though the game is sound dependent, it still sounds nice. It's crazy. It's the little details that matter. Like when you walk through grass, you can hear the grass rustling through your feet. When you walk on different types of terrain, you can hear the difference in the boots. It's really insane. They paid attention to a lot of detail in this game. And speaking of details, we have to talk about the customization. There is a lot of things you can customize when it comes to your guns. I think there's over 100 attachments. Each attachment in itself has pros and cons that can either make your gun really heavy or really light, increasing or decreasing your aim down sight speed, movement speed, and many various other types of stats. So really the choice is yours. Like, you can build your own custom gun. You don't have to use presets, which is pretty nice, but the issue for me, there's so much options, you don't really know what you're doing and you can barely tell the difference it makes in gameplay. They also introduced a lot of camos. Like, I'm talking about I think there's 50 plus camos. So how it works is you have categories of camos that you unlock with the gun level, and once you unlock these categories, you have challenges you have to do, like the old Call of Duty, to unlock each camo. And there's so much, like I'm thinking it will take over 10 to 12 hours of in-game time for you to actually get one gun gold. So it's pretty insane. And there's also a secret camo at the end once you get all guns gold. So this grind is going to take a while. They also have different challenges and stuff you can do, so there's a lot to do in this game. And plus, on top of that, we're supposed to be getting our first season at the end of November. So actually doing everything in the game is going to take you a long time. So this game will be keeping you busy. But I do see one issue though. There's also a new prestige. So they got rid of the old prestige system, and how they do it now is once you hit level 55, you have officer ranks. So everything above all the way to 155, I believe. There are challenges you can do in order to increase your level, but you can just continue to play the game and hit 155 without doing any challenges. But here's the issue with it. As of now, it's pretty easy to hit that max level. Like I'm seeing people doing it in almost 3 weeks, 4 weeks since the games came out. People are already the max level. So what I'm thinking is, once people get the max camo, the last camo, I think it's called Damascus, what is there to do once you hit 155? Like once you hit 155, there's nothing you're grinding for. So I honestly feel like the old prestige system was better and the level 1000 system was way better, but we'll have to see. I'm really curious to see how people are going to feel a few months down the line. So far since the game's release, we don't have any signs of microtransactions, but we do have traces of COD points. Right now, if you go into the game, you can actually purchase COD points and buy one of the first things in the game. I think it's the Call of Duty endowment. Basically, you just get a calling card and stuff, but we know that they are coming. But the great news is they have announced that there are no loot boxes. We're getting a season pass kind of like Fortnite, and I believe we're actually getting a premium pass like Fortnite. So we don't know how much it's going to cost. I'm thinking it's going to be around like 10 bucks, 5 bucks, and hopefully you can earn COD points while you're doing these challenges. So it's all going to come in time, man. Like games, a lot of games do this where the first couple months they won't have any microtransactions, but once, you know, reviews are in, maybe mid-January, February, that's when we really start seeing really intense microtransactions, but we just have to wait and see. So that basically sums up our quick review of Modern Warfare. So far, so good. I'm having a pretty okay time with it. I am struggling a little bit, man. Sometimes you have a good game, sometimes you won't. And most of the times, you're getting blown up by claymores or one shot by shotguns. But overall, it's a good game. I want to touch on the campaign, because honestly, the campaign is amazing, but that deserves its own separate video. So keep on the lookout for that. So that's going to do it for our review. Tell me what you guys think about the game so far. Are you guys having fun? I've seen around the community, it's really the same thing about the maps, the guns, but overall, I honestly believe that the game is not that bad. It's almost there. There's a few more updates, a few more maps, and we'll probably have a perfect game. But like always, guys, if you guys are new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like. And always remember, at the end of the day, it's just a game.